All right, y'all. So I just got back from my family reunion over the past weekend, and it really reminded me how challenging it is going to be to convince people about Bitcoin. All right. Now, I'm not saying this is a revelation because I've always understood and experienced it being hard, but one conversation in particular really drove it home for me. And the way it came up is we do have one family member that is into Bitcoin. So I brought up a conversation about the fact that I should have picked the person's brain because I haven't really talked to them about Bitcoin, and we're the only two that I know that are into it. So once I said that, my family member said, well, I think Bitcoin is a scam. And of course, you know I had to talk about it. You know I cannot just let that go. And the thing is, this was more surprising to me because I had already talked to this family member about Bitcoin Christmas time. This wasn't the first time I was talking to this person. So I already had talked to them about the importance of it, what it does, how it works. And that conversation was based around how you access your Bitcoin. Because, of course, people think that it can just be stolen or whatever. But also, he was wondering what the point was when Bitcoin has to be translated into dollars in order for you to have it. But even more so, he didn't really understand that you can use Bitcoin to actually purchase things. And it was kind of like, what's the point? All right. So we had the conversation then, Christmas time. And then this whole scam thing came up. So I was a little surprised. And I said, well, what makes it a scam? And as soon as he started talking, I realized that he really still didn't understand Bitcoin. And the examples and things that he brought up were really not things that had anything to do with Bitcoin. So his basis around it was the FTX scandal. Okay? So when he said it, he brought up the guy's name and he said the FTX scandal. And it didn't jar my brain right away. So I was like, well, what are you talking about regarding it? And first of all, I mean, he was like, well, how can you be all into Bitcoin if you don't know about, what happened? And I'm like, well, I just don't know what you're talking about. And it didn't jar my memory, which I watched a documentary on it. So just to be clear, I knew about it. It just didn't hit me right away. So anyways, that's neither here nor there. So he was like, yeah, Bitcoin might not be the problem, but the problem is someone can just steal the Bitcoin. And that's where the problem comes in, is that people can steal your Bitcoin. So I looked it up real quick to remind myself, like, what is he talking about? And of course I knew what it was. And I was like, okay, you know that this has nothing to do with Bitcoin, right? This has to do with an exchange. So this person pulled the rug under everybody because they trusted him with their Bitcoin. That's not how Bitcoin works. You don't trust anybody with your Bitcoin. That's the whole point of it. So, he was talking about that. Then he went into usage and, back to the what's the point thing. So I pointed out some things about it in general. I won't go into all of it, but just, the basics, how it works, all the things that we kind of talked about before. And I reiterated, and people really need to look at Bitcoin this way. It is hard to understand, but you have to look at it like something that is revolutionary. And the fact that that other revolutionary things made people think that people who believed in it crazy. Okay, I think I said that right. Basically, anyone who believed in these things was crazy according to other people. And that's things like the internet. And that's my favorite one because the internet is because people always say, oh, well, you can't physically touch Bitcoin, which is one of the arguments he made as far as it being money. But the internet, you can't touch the internet either. And it's very valuable. Clearly, it's very valuable. It is something that the world cannot can't run without anymore. But when it was introduced, you can find the information on it and look it up. People thought people were insane. All the people involved with making it a normal thing were considered crazy. Okay? And this is with anything. Okay? Any invention back in the day that is something that we use regularly today was created by somebody, and people told them that it is insane. So I have to remember that when I'm having these conversations. And I brought that up to the person. I did. I said, I really wish you would look at Bitcoin like the internet and anything else that has been created in order to really understand the value of it. And basically, that's all. That's really all I have to say about it. It just really, really reminded me how hard this battle is going to be. And I've said it before, and I want to talk to my fellow Bitcoiners out there. I say it in several videos, but I really just want to reiterate that it is our duty to talk about this stuff to people. I understand how frustrating it could be, and I understand that it's really hard to articulate because there's so many facets of it. Oh, by the way, that was another thing that was brought up, was like, there's too much to it. Because we were talking about the blockchain and, all the things that it's made up of and how the mining works. And he was like, well, that's too much. And he was like, yeah, and the youth, do you think the youth are going to take time to understand this? And let me tell you, this person doesn't even know I have this channel. They don't know I have this channel. They know that I am, into it and very passionate about it, but they don't know I have this channel. So he was like, yeah, the youth, they're not. And I'm like, the youth doesn't have to understand. They should understand, but people invest in things all the time that they don't understand. People invest in real estate. They don't really understand it. Basically, all people need to know is that they can benefit long term. Now, I do believe in education, but the point is that you don't really need the education. But anyways, that was just another point, and I went on a sidebar again like I always do. But back to my fellow Bitcoiners, just remind yourself that it is a very important thing to do. It is our duty. I really look at it as a duty and something we were put on the planet for. And I know that might sound really, really extreme or whatever, but it's the truth. Somebody has to spread the word. And we understand it. We're in early. We're the ones that are really going to help next generations with their wealth. And not just their wealth, we know that it's going to help our wealth. So we have to really maybe even use that point more to really reach people. That it's not just about your kids and your grandkids, it's about you. Like you can have a lot of money in 10 years, So I just wanted to say that, like, I just found the conversation really enlightening, and it just showed me that I really have to, do more. It really reinforced that I'm doing the right thing with this channel and that my effort will pay off in some way. So even if I can just convince a few people, I'll take it, because let me tell you, it is hard. All right, so that's it for today. I just wanted to talk about that. I did a really bad job because I didn't even introduce the channel, assuming that most people have seen it, and most people probably haven't. So this is Black to Bitcoin. I talk about the wealth gap, how Bitcoin can help the Black community, all that good stuff. All right, so make sure you subscribe. Like the video, share with anyone that you can share with, because we really need to get the word out, okay? So other than that, have a great day, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.